Alright, so we're back, guys, on the dyno with our 2007 project truck. We have our upgraded fuel system, which is a Dynamite diesel set of 100% overs, a 12 mil pump, an air dog. We got our head studs, valve springs, push rods done up, and we are here to see what the stock turbo will do. And then we're gonna add a SMB cold air intake, one of their dry filter intakes on here, and see if it actually helps pick up any power, considering we have all the upgrades necessary to make it except for the turbo. So we're gonna go ahead, put it on the dyno, see what kind of numbers she makes. And since the internet likes proof, here is our stock air box, stock turbo. Air filter does look okay. We did check it. You guys can see we got our upgraded fuel system, our head studs, kind of hard to tell. The only other upgrades, I'll take you guys inside the truck, is we got our built trans. That's a full manual valve body built right here in Utah by the one and only Stump over there. And we got a strap down. We already did the parasitic load test, so we can go right into dynoing this thing. I would say the weather's very similar, so don't imagine the correction factor is going to do us any favors. Let's see what she does. Let's get this old girl fired up. So much better now. Ready, Meyer? Yep. All right.
.41 horsepower.
Oh boy.
1,165 pounds of torque.
Heck yeah. All right, so here is a graph after our run. As you guys can see here, this yellow one is going to be our torque and this green one is our horsepower. We took it out to 2,800 where the truck we knew was going to fall off. So you can see this great usable torque, I'd say right around 2,100, and it carries it to 2,600, we'll call it. And the horsepower really came up 2,200 and carried itself pretty flatline. That's that HE351 wastegate putting in work. What do we do, Meyer?
So for torque, we peaked at about 1164 at 2,300 RPM, and then horsepower, we peaked at around 541 at 2523.
All right, so we wrapped up our first pull, 541 horsepower. That's about what I would expect to see out of a maxed out HE351. We could probably go a little further, but I don't feel like exploding a compressor wheel. So we're gonna go ahead and put the SMB intake on. We are going to install this on the same day within 15 minutes. We're not even gonna take it off the dyno. So we'll get the SMB knocked out and we'll see what kind of improvements it can make to this factory turbo system. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and uninstall the intake. Pretty simple. You got a worm clamp, 2 of them down there by the turbo. You have your intake air temp sensor, and then you have this bolt up here, and we'll just go ahead and get this pulled out.
Now imagine doing more torque than that.
Okay, so we're gonna just do a quick what's in the box. You have your parts bin. You have your intake tube. This is where your intake air temp sensor goes. You have the SMB box with the filter. That's packaged well.
Yeah, that was not getting damaged.
Again, this is one of their dry filters. Here's the part number for everybody that wants to know. And then you have your block for the bottom. Since we do bog deep quite often in this, we'll probably put this on. And then your couplers. So we'll go ahead and get this installed. not gonna cover how to install a cold air intake. It's pretty self-explanatory. So watch and learn. So we're gonna go ahead, get that pipe put in with the boots, put the air box right here, start getting to work. Okay, so now we have our S&B cold air intake installed. We'll see what she picks up on the dyno. Again, that was maybe about 30 minutes of elapsed time in real time. We got her knocked out. So we're trying to make our guesses. I was way off before. Again, guys, the stock turbo is pretty limited. We're obviously a lot of black smoke outside the shop, so we're not going to push it any further as far as tuning goes. So this will be the same tune. I'm going with 544 horsepower.
So you're going a 3 horsepower bump?
Yeah.
I was gonna say like maybe 5. My guess was within the region of dyno error. So like,
Yeah, we're both in the same kind of train of thought, but I think it might pick up 3.
Let's go with. I'm gonna say it's gonna pick up 6 horsepower.
So
just 'cause
547 or 544. Here we go.
$556.
Wow. Hey,
More torque too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we had some pretty big numbers. The dyno loaded a little bit differently. So some of the gains might be attributed to that. But what we did notice and what Meyer was showing me is, you guys can see here, the lower number is going to be the stock airbox. The higher number is going to be the S&B. This is kind of where we got into it a little bit earlier on the engine RPM. It pulled through a little harder. So we picked up about 25 horsepower right there, about 50 foot-pounds of torque. But as you guys can see over here, what we're looking at, the horsepower between the two of them, this one did 555, this one did 541, so about 15 horsepower. In this video we covered maxing out that stock turbo. About 550 is all you're gonna get out of a stock HE351. If you do like bigger turbine wheels, bigger compressor wheels, obviously that threshold goes much higher, but that's where we're gonna leave off at. Picked up a little bit of power with the S&B. We have a 560-ish horsepower truck now, doing just around 1,200 foot-pounds. It feels a lot nicer now that we upgraded the fuel system and the trans. Like it rips on the street. So hopefully that kind of put a little bit of perspective to you guys. Meyer and I were kind of a little off on our guesses. It did add a little bit of horsepower. Again, 10 horsepower, I don't know if you'd actually feel that on the street, but as you guys heard in the sound clip, it does enhance the turbo whistle. So if you like that kind of noise, this intake does help that out quite a bit. Hopefully you guys like this video. Subscribe, comment. I read every comment, and I appreciate your guys' support. Thank you.